Hey, what up guys, A2 Music here, back with another video, and today I'm talking about J. Cole and Kendrick Lamar. Rumor has it they're gonna drop a collab tape soon. Nah, they're never gonna do that shit. But nah, for real, today I'm talking about Dreamville and kinda how they passed up TDE. Now obviously Dreamville is J. Cole's label, and TDE was the label Kendrick Lamar was on. His last project that he dropped through TDE was actually Mr. Morales and the Big Steppers. So just like how J. Cole and Kendrick Lamar are always in a conversation, and them just getting compared and that argument that's between them about who's better, etc. And I feel like because of that, people started comparing artists on their label. And I feel like over the years, things have changed for both of these labels. Now you're probably going to say, well, TDE isn't Kendrick Lamar's label. And yeah, to be fair, that is a valid claim. That isn't Kendrick Lamar's label. But even though that isn't Kendrick Lamar's label, he's still seen as the top dog of that label. Just like how J. Cole is top dog of Dreamville. And both labels have amazing artists on it. So it was just natural to, I guess, compare. Because like I said, there's already that comparison of J. Cole, Kendrick. And obviously J. Cole fucks with his artists on Dreamville. And Kendrick Lamar always fucked with the artists on TDE. Well, so I think. I don't know about now, but that's besides the point. Like I said, they both had great artists, but at one point, TDE was just putting in work. Like Kendrick Lamar and SZA both dropped albums in 2017 that both popped the fuck off. SZA did sell like 60K, which was still good for her. And obviously that album aged well with people and her fans. And Damn just had hella hits on it, people liked it as a project. Over time, people really started liking it even more. And it already had hella praise just from the jump. Overall, TDE was just stacked in putting out way more hits than Dreamville, because Kendrick has just always been poppin', and I would say the second most poppin' at the time was Schoolboy Q and his run that he had. He definitely peaked in 2014 to like 2016. It just seemed like at one point there was always hype for a TDE artist with whatever album they're coming out next. And anytime they did release an album, they always came through with a hit or just overall just a good album. And like, yeah, at that time Dreamville was doing his thing, but just not on TDE level at that time. But over time, with Kendrick Lamar taking a step back after Damn, which really after that, the only time he really stepped out was for the Black Panther soundtrack. Which I will say, there were songs on there that did help artists on TDE. But it seemed like after Kendrick Lamar took a step back, it kind of like all the artists did. Now I don't know how TDE is like label wise, but as Kendrick left, which could have just been because he wanted to, I have no clue why he left, and I highly doubt he had an issue dropping an album because he's Kendrick. He probably could have dropped whenever he wanted to. But SZA actually in the past has complained about TDE, so maybe some of the artists on TDE weren't allowed to drop, like I would assume like the smaller artists on there. This is kind of side note, but I feel like the last time TDE kind of had an album that people really wanted, which by people I mean like a certain fan base, and I'll say that was Isaiah Rashad's album, The House is Burning, which that sold like 41K, which is good for Isaiah Rashad, but I feel like that was like the last person that had some type of hype for an album. Now one thing I think that is worth noting, now Kendrick can do whatever, he can decide whatever feature he wants for his album or anything like that, but I do think one thing that's worth noting is that now one TDE artist is on Mr. Morales and the Big Steppers. So I'm not sure if he has an issue with any of the artists, or if this is just because of the label, or if he just simply just didn't want any TDE artists on his album. And I feel like when Kendrick Lamar took a step back, that's when J. Cole really took a step forward. That's when he dropped KOD, which that alone was a moment. Had hella bangers, and overall just a solid J. Cole project. Plus we can't forget about 1985. J. Cole just dropped Facts in that song, and a lot of people were saying that message was specifically for Lil Pump and Smoke Perp. I feel like after KOD, like yeah, J. Cole is always part of the rap game, but he really starts to involve himself after that with features he did and Revenge of the Dreamers 3. Also another side note, but him actually talking to Lil Pump was kind of crazy, and I honestly forget that even happened sometimes. But I feel like him being more active really helped Dreamville, and obviously some of the artists he gave features to were Dreamville artists. Also, I feel like Cole putting out Revenge of the Dreamers 3 was just overall a good idea, just because it had J. Cole collab with hella other rappers, and it gave people a chance to check out Dreamville rappers. It was just nice to see J. Cole active, and on top of that, every feature he did was just fire. It was already a big look to have J. Cole as a feature, but when he was on that run, you already know he was going to do good as fuck, and debatably carry. Then he threw all the Dreamville artists on a tape that had hella features, which was another huge look for Dreamville artists. And over time, Dreamville just really changed their image. Not that they ever had a terrible image, but now it was like they were more than a label. Like they all seemed like they just actually fuck with each other, which I feel like TDE was lacking. Kinda just timing really for TDE. TDE was kinda on the downward spiral, and as they're heading more down, Dreamville really just stepped on the gas and just started going up. And they definitely passed up TDE, and Kendrick Lamar leaving is just really nailing the coffin for them. Well, I guess for Dreamville against TDE in general, I think should be fine. Which I feel like if I said like 4 or 5 years ago that TDE would fall apart, kinda go ghost in a way, I feel like people would be shocked just because of the potential and talent TDE has. Now Dreamville really has the talk, and the only time I hear about TDE, it's mainly about something negative. But it's still got good artists on there. But the artists on the label aren't really talked about as much anymore. Schoolboy Q is just enjoying life. I don't think he really plans on dropping like that anymore. And I don't think he has an album planned for really anytime soon, and especially not this year, I don't think. And JID is probably the second most talked about rapper on Dreamville, and he has a good amount of hype for his next album, which I would assume J. Cole gives him a feature for. I just think the success of Dreamville is honestly just impressive, because rappers' labels don't exactly go the best. Definitely not the best to sign to. So seeing J. Cole still be successful and put on Dreamville is honestly just amazing. Anyway, I think that's where I'm gonna end the video. If you enjoyed, please leave a like. And comment down below what's your favorite artist on TDE or Dreamville. Anyway, subscribe if you're new. See you guys in the next video. Peace.